What's the one thing that I gave up about a year ago that has changed my health and fitness, changed my body composition, given me more energy, and helped my skin to glow? And no, it's not cardio, and I didn't go vegan. And there's a good chance that you have tried this because I've talked to my clients about this. I've talked to family and friends about this. I've mentioned giving this up for 30 days. And what most people have told me is that they have tried and have been unsuccessful, or they didn't even bother trying because they just didn't think they could do it, or they just didn't want to. And I was kind of in that boat. I didn't really want to because it's something that I really enjoyed, but I did it for 30 days and I've never looked back. Yeah, it's probably the single best health decision I've ever made. And if you've already made this change, then you probably know what I'm talking about. If you haven't made this change, stick around because you're gonna want to. And I will show you how. It's not that hard. Welcome to Boom 50 Fitness. My name's Regan, and this is your channel for all things health and fitness in your 50s and beyond. Okay, I won't leave you hanging. I gave up sugar. Eating sugar can make you want to eat more sugar. It's a controlling substance and it can just wreak havoc on your whole body. If you think you have a sugar addiction, you probably do. Most people have some sort of addiction to sugar. But today I'm going to give you 10 ways to help kick that sugar habit. So together, let's break free of that sugar addiction. Let me throw out my little disclaimer. I am not a doctor, but my degree is in exercise physiology, and I'm currently in a master's program in health sciences and nutrition. And in a few weeks, I will also be a certified nutritionist. But why do I feel really qualified to speak on this subject? Well, hello friends. I used to have a sugar addiction. And today I can honestly say that I still love desserts and sweet things, but I am definitely not controlled by them whatsoever. And here's how I broke free of that addiction. And you guys, I'm not just talking delicious sugary snacks like cookies and cupcakes and cake and Swedish fish. I'm also talking about sugars that come from carbohydrates like pasta, bread, rice. Those are the things we'll talk about as well. Because if you eat those things on a regular basis, you do have an addiction. All right, so let's go over the 10 ways I beat my sugar addiction. Number one, simple. Don't keep sugary things in the house. Out of sight, out of mind. Maybe you think you're strong enough or you have the willpower to keep it in your house, but remember what I said earlier, it's a controlling substance and it is addictive. So your brain will remember the last time you had sugar. Oh, and let's not forget sugary drinks like soda and wine. Maybe the last time you had something sugary was when you were tired or sad or bored. Well, just don't even keep that temptation in the house. It might seem a little uncomfortable at first, but listen, you'll get through it and you'll feel so much better the next day. Okay, number two is to fill up at meal times. And the things you want to fill up on are proteins, healthy fats, and your carbs should come from fruits and vegetables. Oftentimes, the desire to give up sugar corresponds with wanting to lose weight. And in the past, you were probably told if you wanted to lose weight to limit portion size at meal times. And that's not necessarily wrong, but you may be not filling your body up enough on the good, healthy fuel that your body needs, and you wind up hungry, and that's when you start to reach for the sugary foods. So what you eat at mealtime really, really does matter. If you're filling up on refined carbs during mealtime, that is what your body is going to be craving later. Not only that, but your body is going to feel hungry pretty quickly after you've had that last meal, if that's what you've filled up your body with, those refined carbs. And when you do get hungry an hour or two later, what are you going to reach for? you're going to want more of those refined carbs. Yeah, it's kind of a vicious cycle. Okay, so this leads me into number 3, which I touched on a little bit in number 2, but eat more healthy fats. Fat not only slows down your digestion, but it helps keep your blood sugar levels stable. And that will definitely help with hunger control. One of my favorite sayings is eating fat does not make you fat. Eating fat makes you full. But you do want to be choosy about what types of fats you welcome into your diet. But eating healthy fats will help you take control of your hunger. Some of the healthy fats that I eat every single day are nuts, avocados, and a lot of olive oil. Okay, number 4 is to take notice of how sugar makes you feel. One of the reasons we love sugar is because it releases the feel-good chemical dopamine. And what does dopamine do? Well, it activates the brain's reward system. It releases dopamine the same way addictive drugs do, like cocaine. And what the little dopamine hit after eating sugar will do is it will give you more energy and just make you feel good. And I think most of us know from experience that this energy boost does not last for a very long time. In fact, when you crash pretty hard, and it works like a drug. Once we crash, we want another hit of that sugar. So in the long run, sugar can rob you of your focus and your peace of mind. I think that alone should be enough to help you gain some self-control. All right, so let's roll into number 5, and that is to skip the sugar substitutes. Well, here's why. It's really common for people to think that sugar substitutes will help them kick their sugar addiction. But really, the opposite is true. So your body might not release as much dopamine with a sugary substitute, but what it will do is it will keep your sweet tooth alive. And it will also keep your brain and your taste buds locked into that sugary sweetness. So just try to avoid those sweeteners at all costs. And let's move on to number 6. I love this one because I do this one every day, and I hope you do too. But number 6 is just a little hack, and that's to stay hydrated. I know I've said this in many videos before, but you want to stay hydrated because dehydration can mimic hunger. So staying really hydrated is just vital to controlling your appetite and keep your metabolism revved up. All right, so we've covered hydration. Now we are moving on to number 7, which is to set short-term goals. So starting today, you can give up sugar or any food that lists sugar as one of the top 3 ingredients, as well as those carbohydrates like pasta, rice, and bread. Start today and go 30 days. That's it. I'm just asking for 30 days. Is that short enough for you to change your body composition, break your addiction, and have more energy than ever? I don't think so. I know 30 days might sound like a long time right now. In the past, I've usually told people to just start with a day, and if they felt great, go for another day. But because sugar is such a hard addiction to conquer, you gotta go cold turkey for 30 days. You just have to do it. So 30 days might not sound like short term, but it's just what you have to do. And really, 30 days is gonna go by like that. And it is short term. But what's great about 30 days is you will have kicked that habit to the curb, and you'll be able to continue on, because once you break that sugar addiction, there's no going back. You don't want to. Okay, moving on to number 8. Wait a minute, wasn't hydration number 7? Did I skip one, or did I add an extra? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Number 8, this is an important one, and that is to stop eating or drinking at least 3 hours before bed. And why do you think that is? Not just because you'll get better sleep, because I have talked about this in plenty of videos, but it's been shown that the hours after 6 p.m. are when most people consume the most sugar. I know, interesting, right? So declare a time when you are going to stop eating. That way you won't be reaching for those sugary snacks and all those carbohydrates right before you go to bed. And after doing this for a while, your brain will remind you not to head to the fridge in between your Netflix episodes. So I never said this was going to be easy. In fact, for a lot of people, this is the toughest part because they are late night snackers. But it's really, really important to declare that time when you are going to stop eating, and then your body and your brain will get used to you not eating right before you go to bed. I do a hard cutoff at 7 o'clock because my bedtime is usually around 10. Now listen, the other night I went out with some friends. They were much younger friends and dinner reservations weren't until 9:30 at night. But I want to meet more people. I want to do fun things. So obviously we ate late, but I didn't eat any of the carbohydrates. It was someone's birthday. I did have a few bites of cake after dinner, but because I've broken that sugar addiction, I woke up the next day and I wasn't craving carbs and sugar. But on a normal night, which is most nights of the week, I declare 7 o'clock the end of my eating. And now I never even think about snacking after 7. So if you find yourself wanting to eat something sugary after a meal, or you know the time when you want something sugary, here's a tip for you. And this is number 9. Brush your teeth. And this was a tip that my son had suggested because a friend of his suggested this, and shoot, it works. Nobody wants to eat something right after they've brushed their teeth. And I love this idea because not only will it help kick that sugar craving, but it's great dental hygiene. But when I stopped keeping sugary foods in the house, or like pretzels and things like that, those carbs, occasionally my son would go out and get ice cream. But if he didn't feel like leaving the house, he would just go brush his teeth. And he said, Mom, it really works. Okay, this is a good one too. Number 10 is to give yourself a 10-minute timeout. It kind of works the same way that a timeout for toddlers works. Give a toddler a 10-minute timeout and their mood usually changes a little bit. Well, it can work the same way with adults trying to give up some sort of addiction. When the craving hits, give yourself 10 minutes. Distract yourself with either watching TV or watching a YouTube video or reading a book, playing some fun music and dancing around. Give yourself the 10 minutes and then see what happens. But do something to just distract yourself from that sugary craving that you might have, and usually after 10 minutes, that craving will go away. So those are my 10 personal tips to help kick a sugar addiction. But I would really, really love to see all of you out there give it up for 30 days. So anything that you know is sugary, candy, cookies, cakes, or anything where sugar is one of the top 3 ingredients on the label, or anything like breads, pastas, and rice. Give up all those things, and I guarantee at the end of the 30 days, you won't even really miss any of those things. And this is coming from someone who after dinner always had to have something sugary. And I mentioned this earlier, Swedish fish, jelly beans, all that like gummy candy I used to love, but I also loved sugar, like chocolate, and I used to keep those breakable cookies in the freezer, and I would just make 2 of them, and I thought, oh, I'm eating so good because I'm not eating like a whole row, I'm only eating 2. But eating 2 every single night did not help break my sugar addiction. So I went cold turkey. I thought it was going to be so much harder. First few days were kind of hard, but after a week, it got really, really easy after that, and I have not looked back. What I do is I introduced dark chocolate back into my life. So usually after dinner, I have 1 little square of dark chocolate, always 70% with like a strawberry. And that's like explosion in my mouth now because I gave up all the other stuff. And And like I said, if I go out to dinner with friends and a dessert is ordered, I'm going to have a couple bites. If I go to an Italian restaurant, I'm going to have some pasta. But everything is in moderation, and the addiction's just not there anymore. So it makes it so much easier. So who out there is going to try this 30 days? Kick that sugar addiction to the curb. Let me know in the comments below if you have kicked a sugar addiction or if you're going to do this 30-day challenge. I want to hear from you. I am going to be your biggest cheerleader. So reach out and I am happy to help. I hope you liked this video. If you did, do all the things. Thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, ring that notification bell so that you're the first to know when my next video drops. My name's Regan. This is Boom 50 Fitness, your new BFF. I will see you next Wednesday. Maybe the ring light was bugging her. But there she is, Miss Fiona. She says goodbye too.